destiny was to pursue music. After completing post-graduation, Sikkil Gurucharan did a brief stint as a radio jockey at World Space Radio. In this profile, he was in charge of presenting programs, interviewing artists, and doing voiceovers for the 24-hour Carnatic music channel Shri. Later, when the channel shifted base from Chennai to Bangalore, Gurucharan decided to stay in Chennai, the seat of Carnatic music, and pursue his passion.
Sikkil Gurucharanji's first concert was held at the Music Academy under the aegis of the Gnanaskandan Trust in the year 1994. From the time he decided to devote himself to Carnatic music as a full-time professional, there has been no looking back. In a span of close to 13 years, Gurucharanji has performed extensively in India and abroad, spanning prestigious venues such as the Music Academy Chennai, Shri Shanmukhananda Sabha Mumbai, Esplanade Theatres on the Bay, Singapore, Riverside Theatres, Sydney, Korean Arts Management Centre, Seoul, the Sangeet Natak Academy, New Delhi, Rabindra Utsav, Kolkata, to name a few. Apart from performing the traditional Carnatic music concerts conforming to the Paddhati style, Sikkil Gurucharanji and pianist Anil Srinivasan have brought together the classic piano and Carnatic vocal music to create a format which has been termed as devastatingly beautiful by the legendary guitarist John McLaughlin. His music, which has gathered followers in India, Singapore, Australia, USA, and Europe, in a short span of time presents and preserves classical music in a way that reaches out to the younger listeners of music, but at the same time satisfies the Puritans who look out for the aesthetic value. He has several albums to his credit. He has performed with now artists like the Dhananjayans, Anita Ratnam, Ramli Ibrahim, and Murad Ali, amongst others. He was bestowed with Sangeeta Bhaskara by the Gnanaskandan Trust in 1994. In 2007, the Shri Shanmukhananda Sabha, Mumbai, conferred the Shanmukha Shiromani Award. In the same year, the Sangeet Natak Academy also felicitated him with the Ustad Bismillah Khan Yuva Puraskar. Apart from these, he has been awarded with as many as 28 awards. Without further ado, let us welcome Sikkil C. Gurucharanji amongst us. Welcome, sir.
I would now like to hand over the session to the technical in charge to lead us into the musical journey.
Thank you. I'd also like to welcome and invite Anuja ma'am, who is the Vice Principal of our co-host today, BSGDS College. Ma'am, please, if you would like to address and share a few words.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity. First of all, on behalf of the management, the director, Dr. Mrs. Ansi Jose, the principal, Professor Dr. Moshmi Datta, supervisor of the BSGD's Junior College of Commerce, Arts and Science, Sri Sanjay Kumar Joshi, on behalf of the teaching faculty and dear students who have gathered here, and on my personal behalf, I would like to thank the organizers for having given us this opportunity of participating in this online concert during this pandemic days. On behalf of all of us here at the BSGD's Junior College, I offer our pranam to Shri Gurucharanji and his accompanist on the violin and the mridangam for having made it possible for our students and our teachers equally to take benefit of these kind of Carnatic concerts, which are very rare, especially in the online mode. So I would say thanks to the pandemic that we've got this opportunity to meet the great Gurucharanji and his accompanist and enjoy a wonderful session of Carnatic concert on this day. It really gives me, it really makes me happy to tell you that this is the first of its kind that we have organized in our college. And we were quite overwhelmed by the response that we got. So on behalf of all of us here, I welcome the main Carnatic vocal singer, Sri Sikkil Gurucharanji, His accompanist on the violin, Shri Sai Rakshit, and on the mridangam, Shirtalatai Anantakrishnan. It would be definitely an honor and a privilege to listen to this voice and to enjoy the Carnatic music, the traditional Indian music today. So it's really an opportunity for us to have it, to be the co-host of this concert, online live concert, and all the very best to the organizers once again. Thank you on behalf of all of us here, and looking forward to this wonderful evening. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Sabyaji.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. I would now like to request our technical team to take the evening forward, and thank you again to ma'am for joining us.
Welcome. It's a pleasure.
Namaste. On behalf of Vidwan Sai Rakshit and Vidwan Shertale Anantakrishnan, I would like to welcome all of you to this Rendezvous series presented by SPICMAKE in association with Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Mumbai. We would like to present first Avarnam in the Ragam Todi, composed by Shri Patnam Subramanya Iyer, and Aditalam. ni da ga ni ma ga ni da ni ga ni da ni da ni ga ni ni da ni da ga ni da ma da ni ye ra da ni ma da ga lu ni inta da ni ma da ga lu ni inta sa ga sa me la ra da ni ma da ga lu ni inta sa ga sa me la ra ga ma ga re ni re sa da ni sa re ga ma da ni ma da ga lu ni inta sa ga sa me la ra da ni da da ma ga ma da ma ga re sa ni sa re ga ma da ni sa ni da ma ga ma da ni ma da ga lu ni inta sa ga sa me la ra ma da ni sa ni da ni sa ni da ni sa ni da da ma ga ma ni da ma da ni sa da ni da ma ga ri sa da ma ga ri sa re ga ma da ni sa ri ga ri ni da ma ga ri ni sa re ga ma da ni ma da ga lu ni inta sa ga sa me la ra da ni da ma ga ma ni da ma ga ri sa da ma ga ri sa ga ri ni da ni sa re ga ma da ni sa ni da ni sa ri ga ni da ni da ma ga ri sa ga ri ni da ma ga ri sa ni sa re ga ma da inta sa ga sa me la ra sa ma da ni sa ni da ni sa ni da ni da ma da ni da ma da ni sa ni da ni sa ni da ni da ma da ni da ni sa ni da ma ga ma da ni sa ni da ni sa ni da ni da ma da ni da ni sa ni da ma ga ma da ni da ma ga ni da ma ga da ma ga ri sa ni sa re ga ma da sa re ga ma da ni sa re ga ni da ni ga ni da ni da ma da ni sa ni da ma da ni sa re ga ni sa ri da ni sa ma da ni ga ma da ni sa re ga ma ga ni da ma ga ri ni sa re ga ma da ni ma da ga ru ni inta sa ga sa me la ra da ni మాటలు After the Varnam rendered in different speeds, I shall now be singing a song by Muthuswami Dikshidhar, a Navagraha Kriti in the Ragam Yadukula Kamboji. Today being Saturday, it is apt to sing the Kriti on Shanischara, the presiding deity of the planet Saturn, Divakara Tanujam, in Chatusra Ekatalam. Shri देवा करतनूजं शनिश्चरं देवा करतनूजं शनिश्चरं धीरतरं सन्ततं चिन्तयेऽहं देवा करतनूजं शनिश्चरं धीरतरं सन्ततं चिन्तयेऽहम् भवमुनिदौ भवमुनिदौ भयङ्करम् अतिक्रूरफलदं भवानीश कटाक्ष पात्रभूत भक्तिमता भवानीश कटाक्ष पात्रभूत भक्तिमता मतिशय शुभ फलदं भवानीश कटाक्ष पात्रभूत भक्तिमता मतिशय शुभ फलदं देवा करतनूजं शनिश्चरम् सहोदरं काकवाहं नीलां शुकपुष्पमालावृतं नीलरत्नभूषणालङ्कृतं मालिनी विनुत गुरुगुहमुदितं मकर
नितार्थ फलद कामधेनु काल चक्र वेद चित्र भानु कल्पित छाया देवी सूनु देवा शनिश्चरं धीरतरं सन्ततं
The next will be a ragam followed by tanam in the ragam Kiravani.
na 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 tadari ri na tadari na tadara na 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 Anum tanum tadaganum tum tadaganum taganum tum tadaganum taganum taganum tadaganum 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 anum tadaganum 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 anum tanum tatanum tanum tatanum tanum tatanum anum tatanum anum tatanum Since the hosting institution is in Maharashtra, we thought it would be nice to render a Marathi Pallavi, something not very often sung in Carnatic music, although we have abhangs. In fact, this particular verse is also by Sant Tukaram, where he says that the happiness that we get in our lives is in the size of a flax seed, whereas the sorrow that we seem to face in our lives, it is like a mountain. So he says that in whatever little happiness that you can find in life, please celebrate it and try to spread it to others, and don't worry about the sorrow that may or may not follow. Sukh pahata zava pade, dukh parvata evade. Sukh pahata zava pade, Sukh pahata zava pade, dukh parvata evade. Sukh pahata zava pade, dukh parvata evade. Sukh pahata zava pade, dukh parvata evade. Sukh pahata zava pade, dukh parvata evade.
एवढे सुख पाहता जावा पाडे दुःख पर्वता 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 एवढे सुख पाहता जावा पाडे தசவ பாடே சுக பகதசவ பாடே மகரி சரி கம பமகரி கம தப பத நிரி நித நித சனி நித தபம சுக பகத சவ பாடே Sari gama pada ni sari gama gari gari sani ri sani sani daba ni daba ni pada masukha pahata sukha pahata sava paani padaba ma pa pa padaba ma padaba ma padaba ma gari ga re ga ma pa ba ba ga re ga ma pa da ba ga re ga ma pa da ni da ba ba da ba ma ba ma ga re ga ma pa da ba ma ga ma pa 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 ba da ni da ba ma ga re sa ga re ga ma pa da ba da ni da ba sa ni sa ga re ma ga re ni da ba ma ga re sa ga re ga ma da pa pa gare ma pa 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 ni sa gare ma pa ni sa ni pa ma gare ma pa sa ni pa ma gare sa gare ma pa ni sa gare ma gare sa ni pa ma gare sa ni sa gare ma pa pani sa ni da ba ma ga ma pa ni da ba ma ga re sa ni sa ga ma ga re sa ga ma pa ma ga re sa ga ma pa ni sa ga ma ga re sa ni sa ni da ba ma ga re sa ga ma pa pa sa ni da ba ma ga re sa ni sa ga ga ma pa pa ni sa ni da ba ma pa ni pa ma ga re sa ni sa ga re ma pa ni sa ga re sa ni pa ma pa ma ga re sa ni da pa ma ga re sa ni sa ga re ga ma da pa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa re ga ma pa da pa ga re ga ma da pa ma ga re sa ga re ga ma pa ni pa ma ga re ma pa sa ga re ma pa ni sa ga re sa ni pa ma pa sa ni da pa ma ga re sa ga ma pa ni sa ni pa ma ga re sa ga re ma pa sa ga re ga ma da pa ma ga re sa ga re ga ma ga re sa ni da pa da ni sa re ga ma pa pa ma ga re ga ma pa sa ga re ga ma pa sa ni pa ma pa sa ni ga ma pa sa ni da pa sa ni da ba ma pa sa ni da ba ma pa ni da pa da pa da pa sa re ga ma pa da pa sa re ga ma pa da pa da pa ma ga ma pa da pa ma da pa ma pa da pa ma pa da pa ma pa da pa ma da pa ma pa ma ga ma pa ga ma ga re ma ga re ga re re ga re re ga re re za ni za re ga ma ga ma ga ga ma ga ga ma ga re re ga ma ma pa ma ma pa ma ma pa ma ga re ga ma pa da ba ma pa da ni za ni za ni da ni za ni ga ni za ni ga ma ga ma ga ma ga ni za ni ga ni za ni ga ma ga ni za ni ga ma ni za ni ga ma ma ga ni za ni za ba ma ga ni za ma ga ni za ga ni za da za ni ba ni da ma da ba ga ba ma re ma ga ni za re ga ma ba da ni ga ni za ni da ga ni za ni da ni re za ni da ba da ni da ba ga ni za ni da re za ni da ba za ni da ba ma ga ma ba da ba ga ma pa ma ba da ni da ma pa da ma ga ni za ni da ni za ga ma pa da ma pa ma ba da ni da ba da pa da ni za ni ga ni za ni da ga ni za ni da ni re za ni da ba da ni da ba ga ni za ni da ni za ni da ba za ni da after those verses by Tukaram, which were more philosophical in nature, we go to a more devotional song by the same composer. भारे पांडुरंगा केम्हा बेट देसी 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 जालो में परदेसी तुझे वीण झालो मी परदेसी तुझे वीण झालो मी परदेसी तुझे वीण तुझे वीण तुझे वीण भारे पांडुरंगा केम्हा बेट देशी तुझे वीण सखा मजी नाही कोणी 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 वाटते शरणी देवुनिया वाटते शरणी देवुनिया वाटते शरणी देवुनिया 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 भारे पांडुरंगा केम्हा बेट देशी ओवल विकाया चरण वरुणी ओवल विकाया चरण वरुणी ओवल विकाया चरण वरुणी ओवल विकाया चरण वरुणी केम्हा चक्रपाणी भेट शीला केम्हा चक्रपाणी भेट शीला तुखा म्हणे माझी तुखा म्हणे माझी तुका म्हणे माझी पुरववी आवडी तुका म्हणे माझी पुरववी आवडी तुका म्हणे माझी पुरववी आवडी वेघे गाली उडी नारायणा वेघे गाली उडी नारायणा वेघे गाली We shall be concluding the concert with a Tilana composed in the Ragam Purvi by Tirugokarnam Vaidyanatha Iyer. It was a pleasure performing yet again for the Rendezvous series by Spick McKay in association with Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Mumbai. Nere nere ga ma ga re sa, nere ga ma da ma ga re sa, nere nere ga ma ga re sa, nere ga ma da ma ga re sa, nere nere ga ma ga re sa, nere ga ma da ma da ni ma da ga ma da ma ga re sa, nere nere ga ma ga re sa, nere ga ma da ma da ni ma da ga ma da ma ga re sa, nere nere ga ma ga re sa, nere ga ma da sa ni da ma da sa ni ga ni da ni da ma da ri ni da ma da ma ga re sa, nere ga ma ga re sa, nere ga ma da sa ni da ma da sa ni ga ni da ni da ma da ri ni da ma da ma ga re sa, nere ga ma ga re sa, ni da ma da sa ni ga ni da ma da ri re ga ma da sa ni da ma da sa ni ga ni da ma da ri re ga ma da sa ni da ma da sa ni ga ni da ma da ri re ga ma da sa nadrida ni tom drida ni tom udara da ni udara da ni tom nadrida ni tom drida ni tom udara da ni udara da ni tom nadrida ni tom drida ni tom udara da ni udara da ni tom nadrida ni tom drida ni tom udara da ni udara da ni tom nadrida ni tom drida ni tom udara da ni udara da ni tom nadrida ni tom drida ni tom udara da ni udara da ni tom dittam kirdam 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 nere ga ma ga re sa nere ga ma da ni ma da ga ma da ma ga re nere ga ma ga re sa nishada rishabha gandhara nishada rishabha gandhara madhyama nishada rishabha gandhara madhyama deivata shajja panjamodhata nudata svarita prajaya pranavakara nishada rishabha gandhara madhyama deivata shajja panjamodhata nudata svarita prajaya pranavakara nitya niramaya nirmala nigamanta pratibhava nirupama niravadhi sukhada girisha nirada niranjani nirguna brahmastra nadridani tom dridani tom udara nadani dani udara nadani tom nadridani tom dridani tom udara nadani dani udara nadani tom nadridani tom dridani tom udara nadani dani udara nadani tom ditlam kirdam ditlam kirdam ditlam kirdam ditlam kirdam ditlam kirdam ditlam kirdam nere ga ma ga re sa nere ga ma da ni ma da ga ma da ma ga re sa nere ga ma ga re sa re nere ga ma ga re sa nere ga ma ga re sa re nere ga ma ga re sa sa re nere ga ma ga re sa sa re nere ga ma ga re sa re nere ga ma ga re sa sa re nere ga ma ga re nere ga ma ga re nere ga ma ga re sa ga ma ga re sa ga ma ga re sa.
Thank you, sir, for such a melodious rendition. Now, we have a handful of questions posed by our audience, which we will be reading out for you to answer.
Hello, sir. Let me have the honor of asking you the first question.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Good. Go ahead.
What is the exact variation among the various genres of compositions like Javali, Paddam, Kriti, and Varnam?
We can't pinpoint as to this is the exact level of or the exact degree of difference that we have among compositions, but uh, for a trained ear, and I don't mean that this is possible only for performers, this is possible for music students. If they cross a certain number of years learning music, they'll be able to find out the subtle difference between a varnam and then a varnam and a kriti, a javali, a padam, and more or less every composition in Carnatic music, it revolves around lyrics, and it has a talam to it. Basically, you find that there are two major types of items that you have in a Carnatic concert. Two major kinds of repertoire that is being presented. One is that which is taught in the classroom, and one which is that is created on spot. So we call the former Kalpita Sangeetam, and the latter is Kalpana Sangeetam. So Kalpana means creativity. So in Kalpita Sangeetam, everything that you just asked, it can fit into that category. So all the songs that you learn in a classroom, the more number of songs that you learn, you will find that there are similarities between certain kind of compositions, and there are also dissimilarities or differences. For example, if you take a kriti, for example, the second number that I did in today's performance, Divakara Tanujam, it is a kriti. So there are more lyrics than solfa passages or swara passages. But the previously sung item, which was the varnam in the ragam Todi, that is called a varnam because it has a mixture of lyrics and swaras, but none of those swaras are created on spot. They are all kalpita. They have been taught in the classroom. So even though those are swaras, the same swaras are being sung again in the centerpiece of the concert, which was the Marathi Pallavi, but those swaras are Kalpana Sangeetam. Those were done on spot. So you will understand that there are a lot of similarities between the songs that are being taught to you in a classroom, but the more number of genres that you learn within the classroom, within Carnatic music, you will try to appreciate the differences, and every single composition is responsible for any artist to be creative on stage. So that is what I think.
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful answer. Is the raga framework a highly technical and complicated arrangement? How so?
I won't say complicated, it is technical. You need to appreciate, as I said, the seven swaras. If it is a Sampurna Ragam, there are seven swaras in it. And if it is a non-Sampurna Ragam, it may have 5 or jumbled pattern of swaras, or even some cases there are lesser than 5 swaras in a ragam. So you have to first understand the swarupa of the ragam, or the exact structure of the ragam. And then before you can go to create an alapana on spot, before you can go to explore the contours of that raga, of those 7 swaras, you need to back yourself up with a lot of data. And those data come from compositions. So what I answered in the first question. So the more number of compositions you learn in one particular raga, you will understand the way this raga moves. It's just like getting to know a place. You know that you are sitting in Maharashtra, you know that people are speaking Marathi, you can converse with people, but still you don't have that confidence to venture out alone. But you know that there is a road ahead, there is a forest ahead, there are buildings over here. The more you learn about the natural topography of the place, you feel free to move along, and you feel free to create your own routes. So that's exactly what happens in Raga Alapana. Rather than calling it complicated, you need to know the technique behind every raga, every swara, and the movement between swaras that we call gamakas in Indian classical music. So once you are aware of the 7 swaras of the Sampurna Raga, and then you study the movement between the swaras, which are called gamakas, and finally when you kind of embark upon this journey of learning a lot of compositions in one particular raga, you start creating your own shades of that raga. So raga singing is a highly technical process. At the same time, we try to make it as enjoyable to listeners in a way that we try to compare a raga alapana to a painting.
Okay, Thank you so much for that answer. I have another question. So, Carnatic music has a lot in common with other genres of music. What is your opinion on the similarities between Carnatic music and music like, say, jazz?
I'm not that well versed in jazz, but I do appreciate the similarities when it comes to creating your own explorations. It's nicely working out because the first question is kind of spilt over the second one. The second one, we take the second question's answer also to the third one. So creativity is a very strong unifying factor between Carnatic and jazz music, between Indian music and jazz music, I would say, because in jazz they choose a particular scale, they play a certain set composition, and then they improvise on spot. So they have their own rules for improvisation. They may move out of the scale, they may move out of the time signature, but it is very clearly understood by the rasikas, by the listeners over there, that this is improvisation. But here we have our own set of rules even while improvising. We are not supposed to move outside the raga at any given point of time, and we are not supposed to take any other time signature than what we already chose. So there are certain restrictions, and I would say there are certain boundaries that we have to respect even while we are creating on spot. That said, I think creativity is an inherent part of any human being. So even if you see that if you kind of ask one person to repeat the same sentence 100 times, there will be a slight difference in the way he utters the sentence or the way he chooses the words for that sentence the first time and the 100th time. So there will be a little bit of creativity that will creep in any human mind, I would say. So Carnatic music and Indian classical music makes full use of that creativity. And in today's scenario, I think probably only 40% of the concert is pre-planned, but the rest of the 60% we are as as excited as the audience to know what's going to unfold on stage.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to open the stage to any audience questions. They can unmute and ask their questions.
Yeah, I think we will give you access to unmute your mics. So
yes, sir.
yes.
Yeah, I'm unmuted. Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, sir. I am Akshita. My question was, today I saw a lot of raga, I guess 3 or 4 ragams were performed on stage. How difficult was for the singer to go from one ragam to another within 2 minutes span?
Oh yeah, that section is called Ragamalika or Ragamala. That's something that we willingly explore. It's that certain portion is where we show our expertise in handling multiple ragas within a short span of time. So there are many tricks, some of which I don't want to divulge right now because that will make the next program for you less interesting perhaps. But it comes only with practice. So I can remember my earlier explorations in Ragamalika or Ragmala where there were little struggles to move from one raga to another and then that raga to another. Today, if you have, I think you have paid attention very well. That's the reason you're asking this question. So if you realized I would have sung Kiravani as one of the ragas, as the mother raga, and then I would have branched off to, I think, Nalina Kanti and a couple of other ragas. So the trick is to move from one raga to another through notes that are quite different from the two ragas, and then from the second raga to the third raga to the fourth raga, and then again come back the same way. So there are again, many artists do this in many different ways. They choose very close ragas that differ from, even I've done that, ragas that differ from each other by just one note, and thereby they show how the entire emotion and the mood changes because of one note. So Ragamala is a highly exciting exercise. It comes only by practice, and again, as I said, the answer for the first question, the more number of songs you learn in multiple ragas, you will understand each raga's distinct flavor and texture. So that gives you the confidence to take the scale, take the raga, the notes, and then play or juggle around with them.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, myself Pranati. So, actually, I'm a student. I'm learning Carnatic music. I learned also, and so I would.
Pranati, please
Yes,
open your camera.
I'm not in a very good. I'm not ready actually. That's why I'm not putting on my camera. I would like to know the pattern of Raga Lapana and the ending. What is it? Swara Kalpana and Raga Lapana, because I can really, the way you were singing the ragams, I caught it immediately, which ragam you were singing. I was very excited for knowing the pattern of Raga Lapanas and Swara Kalpanas. Could you please tell me?
Yeah, pattern is a very important exercise while doing creativity, because if you let loose of your dog, which is on a leash, it will just run haywire. But you need to maintain a tight a grip on the dog, on your pet dog as well, because you don't want it to get lost. So creativity is something like that. You don't want to just run everywhere the raga takes you to. There has to be certain patterns. You need to call yourself back. You need to say that I've hit this swara, I need to work around this swara, and then I have to move to other swara. So you will see that although raga alapana is a highly creative process, it is because it doesn't have time signature to it. Raga alapana is devoid of any tala or rhythm. But that said, there are patterns in raga alapana, because you cannot start, for example, you cannot start somewhere really high and then end high for like 5-10 minutes. That won't give you the entire structure of raga. So there are sthayis or octaves in Carnatic music. So you need to build up a raga alapana from the lower octave to the higher octave and to the highest octave where you can reach according to your each one's given voice condition, and then again slowly bring back the audience to a happy, and a very stable ending, I would say. Because my guru always compares the ending of an alapana to that of a plane landing. You have a wonderful flight for 16 hours, enjoy the flight, but when the landing is really bad, you tend to forget the entire flight. Whatever movies you watched, the great food that you had in flight, everything goes for a toss. The landing has to be smooth. So, and that's the reason a raga alapana has to land in such a way that people can also breathe easy, and it has to take you through different speeds, through different sthayis, as I said earlier. The same thing goes for Swara Kalpana. Swara Kalpana also, it is random, because you can sing whatever comes to your mind, but again you have to keep a tight leash on your creativity. You cannot sing something that is too large in the beginning itself. You have to build up the size of the swaras that you're singing. It has to go from small to medium to large, and then again there is a balance between certain types of swaras that are sung with a lot of speed, and certain types of swaras that are sung with carways or space between them. And again we have arithmetic in Swara Kalpana. You use a lot of formulae to devise choreways and all these highly technical and mathematical way of singing Swara Kalpana. So there has to be a balance between everything, and there has to be a very natural and organic pattern when you sing raga, alapana and swaras. Again, this comes not only by learning new kritis, it comes by observing your gurus and observing by people that you really adore for their music, and try to work out what kind of pattern they adopted, and that will give you an idea of what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
Yes, so actually, I had seen you in Prashantinlayam. You had gone for Satya Sai Baba's birthday celebrations.
Yeah.
So I'd seen you there, and I got very inspired of those Raga Lapanas and Swara Kalpanas. So actually, I wanted to improve on them. That's why I had asked you this question.
Thank you. I wish you the best of luck. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
I'm Madhuvanti, sir. I have a question. Can I ask, sir?
Sure, please. Yeah.
Sir, what is your opinion on Graha Bedam, which is performed during the concert, during the Kalpana Swaram or during the Alapana?
My opinion is I love Graha Bedams, and unless you're confident, don't venture to sing Graha Bedam. Yeah.
And another doubt, sir, how to identify the ragam which is performed during the Graha Bedam, sir?
See, Graha Bedam, for those who don't know, it's something like shifting the bass note to another note that exists within the parent raga. So, if I chose Kiravani, for example, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da pa ma ga re sa. This is the parent raga that I chose, and while I'm doing ni da pa da ni re ga re ni re ga re ni. If I linger a lot in that ni and try to give phrases in that nishadam, that means I'm probably trying to switch to another raga within me, but that again, it may or may not be the case with with the artists that you follow. It may be a exercise in Kiravani itself. And again, if you concentrate carefully, ni that becomes the sa. Sa ni re ga re ni sa re ga re sa re ga re sa ni re ga re ni da ni re ga re ga pa da pa ga pa ga re ga pa da pa ni re ni ga. Ni becomes ga, and I have shifted to a ragam called Bauli now. Ga pa da pa ga re ga pa da pa ga re ni ga re ni da ni ga re sa. When I give sa, Bauli goes away and Kiravani comes back. So this is common in many ragas that you can find. It's just a matter of you having to sit down and write down which raga leads. I mean, which note will lead to which raga. So if you probably do this exercise tonight, Madhuvanti. You can take Mohanam. Sa re ga pa da sa da pa ga re sa. This is the most easiest way to identify rahas through Graha Bedam. And go to Re and sing that pentatonic scale from Re. Re ga pa da sa re sa da pa ga re ra 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 na na sa re ma pa ni sa ni pa ma re sa goes to Madhyamavati. And then re sa becomes the sa re ga, that becomes sa ga pa da sa re ga re sa da pa ga sa ga ma da ni sa ni da ma ga sa goes to Hindola. So you try with Mohanam what all ragas you can get within sa re ga pa da. So that will give you a very easy idea of what Graha Bedam is.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Assuming our audience have no further question, I would. Okay, continue. Is anyone asking the question?
No, I think we can proceed with the conclusions ceremony and vote of thanks.
Yes, well, that was an interesting discussion, sir. Thank you so much for answering our questions. I'm sure our audience present here are content with the answers. I would now like to call upon Professor Ambadas Deshmukh to convey the vote of thanks.
Namaskaram, sir. It is said, if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. I would like to extend my profound gratitude to Vidwan Shri Sikkil Gurucharan ji, Shri Sai Rakshit on violin, and Shri Shertalai Ananthakrishnan on mridangam. I am much obliged to the Society for the Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Culture among its youth, Speak Make, its founder Dr. Kiran Seth ji, Shri C.S. Pancham ji, Vidya Vasan Madam, Chandrakala Madam, Shri Sabyasachi Day for providing us with this wonderful opportunity to conduct this Rendezvous series classical evening concert at our Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Mumbai. I would like to thank all higher authorities of Vidyalankar Institute of Technology for their immense support and cooperation. Finally, I extend warm regards to all the co-artists, organizing committee members, volunteers, students, parents, and faculty of Vidyalankar Institute of Technology for being part of such a memorable evening. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Thank you very much. Stay safe and hope to meet you very soon in a better world. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Yes, with this, I thank Vidwan Shri Sikkil Gurucharan sir for taking the time out and sharing so much of his words of wisdom to all our students today. And with this, I like to thank you again on behalf of our SpeakMaker team, and we will meet again next week, same time, Saturday, 6 p.m. Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Thank you all.